It was a weird one. It was a strange one. Turbulence in Tampa. A furious rally in the second half. Unfortunately, too many penalties in the first half, bad secondary play, inconsistent pass rush, and at the end of the day, the Eagles lose 27-21. Philly 500 is here. I am Adrian Fedke. A disappointing loss. It felt like week 2 of last year. We talked about this pre-show. It felt just like that game in Kansas City last year.
Just like that, where you couldn't stop the big plays that cost you at the end of the day. I think it's exactly like that, except for, of course, you don't have Alshon and Wentz and everybody out there. It wasn't the Eagles' best performance. I think all around. I think the coaching could have been better. I think the offense could be better. I think the quarterback could have been better. I think the defensive line could have been better. The secondary could have been better. It's just one of those games that you started too late, you know what I mean, in order to make a run and try to take over this game. And the big plays cost us. And, yeah, it reminds me of Kansas City. Totally, 100%.
And you know what else this makes me think of, too? Last year, we as Eagles fans, we kept waiting for the Eagles to fall into the trap, and they never did. Well, guess what? They fell into a trap today. And even I fell for it because I had the Eagles winning big, and it didn't happen. Again, when you're allowing a 75-yard touchdown to Deshaun Jackson on the first play of the game, when you knew it was going to him deep on the first play of the game, my God. So you have that, and then you have O.J. Howard for a 75-yard touchdown. Ronald Darby just whiffed on a tackle there. So when you have stuff like that happen to you, you're going to lose football games.
You're going to lose football games. You can't allow points like that. I mean, the Deshaun Jackson, everybody in the world knew that. I mean, especially Eagle fans, we should know because we've done it so many times. Yes. We've seen it done. It was going to come, and they weren't even ready for it. That bothered me. The O.J. Howard thing bothered me because they couldn't even tackle. I mean, they missed way too many tackles. And it just wasn't our best performance. And I felt like the sluggish that we were seeing in preseason, and then we saw last week with Atlanta, in this offense, it continued again. And then we have the injuries. Peters goes out. Mike Wallace is carted off. Ajayi goes out for a long period of time. It really hurt us. It was one of those tough games that you just, at the end of the day, I think you just have to tip your cap, even though you don't want to Tampa, say good game, and we'll get you next time, because I don't think this is our Eagles team. I think we're much better than this, and I don't think we'll see this again during the regular season. Yeah,
this quite possibly could be the worst that you'll see the Eagles play this year.
Yeah,
and they still almost won the game, and that to me speaks volumes. Actually, that's why it was like the Kansas City game last year. They had no business winning the Kansas City game, but they almost did. They had a shot at it. They didn't win it. Same thing happened today. It was a very, very resilient effort. And I want to get back into the injuries again because they were key in this game. I mean, you had 3 of them right off the bat. Bing, bat, boom. 3 guys just gone. That screws up your game plan because you had Mike Wallace, a guy that can go deep, and you have Jason Peters, a guy that can protect your quarterback and make sure that Mike Wallace can get deep. Well, all of a sudden, Peters is down. Mike Wallace goes down. And then they get really, really conservative. Jay Ajayi goes out too at some point, like you said. So they get really, really conservative with these passes. And they had to because Big V, Halapoulivaati Vaitai, was getting beat like a drum by JPP.
Every play, Foles was having pressure come from JPP. Every play. Big V. I don't know what they did last year with him, but I don't know what happened this year. But it looks like night and day, dude. Can Jordan Mailata be that much worse right now than Big V? Because as soon as he came in, Foles started getting knocked around, started having to rush the pass. And Foles didn't look good almost the same exact time that Big V came in. No doubt about it.
Yeah, so you had a plethora of things going on in the first half. Penalties were killer. At one point, you had a 3rd and 41. Not joking. That happened. Right? Yeah. A 3rd and 41. As you can imagine, they did not convert it.
And they were driving too. That they looked like they were getting into a rhythm on that drive, and then all these penalties. It was totally ridiculous.
Yeah, and it was like this. It was like this the entire game. I mean, it was just like off and on with the inconsistency in the first halves. You'd get a nice run off the right side or the left side for like 7 yards, and then you'd have a penalty on the next play, and it kills your drive. It just kills you. That's why they didn't get going until the second half, because that was finally when they stopped committing penalties.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. It's really crazy, man. This is one of those, like, I really think at the end of the day, like, you have to take the loss on it, but I think this is one of these games where we got to just throw out.
Yeah.
You just got to look at it, throw it out, and move forward, because this is not the norm for this team. It's just not the way they play. They don't give up usually big plays like that. So so consistent. I mean, it happened with Kansas City last year. It happened again. And, hey, just got to take it and roll forward and go forward. I'm not going to sweat it too much. I mean, I hate it. I hate losing, but This isn't the Eagles.
Yeah, the big plays were a killer. I mean, usually if you prevent that big play, usually the Eagles defense will limit you to a field goal most of the time. I mean, I know this Tampa offense has been explosive the first 2 weeks, and this is kind of where I want to get into the secondary, because I was disappointed by the secondary and the cornerbacks. And Malcolm Jenkins bites on the first play of the game. Like, again, dude, you're a veteran. You knew exactly what was going on that first play of the game. So the secondary just didn't come out and play today. Mike Evans did what he wanted. Deshaun Jackson did what he wanted. Chris Godwin did what he wanted. And because the Tampa Bay Bucs were getting the ball out quick and also keeping Ryan Fitzpatrick protected more than I thought they would, because the penetration wasn't deep. It was like medium. They got going at times. Fletcher Cox, I mean, he was up against Caleb Benenoch. We saw it on the first drive where he swatted him like a fly. Yeah. I would have thought we would have saw more of that.
Yeah, I thought that the pass rush was not getting to him. Fitzpatrick never really felt uncomfortable. The few times that he did get pressure, he threw bad balls. He threw it away. He threw it over the guy's head. I mean, but there was no consistent pressure. He never felt, he was comfortable. He was comfortable the whole game. And I was a little surprised. And I would have liked to see a little more blitzing from the Eagles in some certain situations. I know they don't like to do it, but at some points, I think you have to do it, especially with a guy like him. He usually folds up once there's pressure, and they didn't give it to him, and to his credit, he tore us up.
I agree with that. I mean, he threw over 400 yards, first quarterback ever to throw for 400 plus yards in back-to-back games with 4+ scores. Ryan Fitzpatrick, everyone. It's magic. Okay, whatever. I mean, it's the receivers and that offensive coordinator right now is calling out some great plays, and kudos to him too, even late in the game, to throw the ball on second down. That play to Deshaun Jackson. I mean, that was huge. Kudos to him. I forget his name off the top of my head, but he's been very, very impressive the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, you got to give him credit. They beat us today. They outscored us, and look, it's unbelievable that Fitzpatrick is thrown for 2 consecutive games of over 400 yards. But at the same time, I tip my hat to him and give him credit, but I'm ready to throw this game. I'm already thinking about the Colts, because I just don't think this is a good representation of this team. It's not consistent with what we've seen for the last 2 years. I'm a little bit worried about Mike Wallace also. He was carted off. And we already don't have Alshon, and I think that we need to do something at the wide receiver spot, big time. Yeah. I don't think there's any doubt in that.
All right, I guess we can spend a few minutes on that. Maybe spend a little bit more time on that on a future Bitter Dingbats episode. We'll see.
Yeah, I think
so. We'll be doing that this week, because, by the way, the Trenton Thunder, they're done. So I don't have work anymore at night. So
yeah, what we're gonna do it? I get the Where's the Bitter Dingbats request?
Yeah. So we'll get that cracking this week again, and we'll get into some topics. And Josh Gordon, we'll just spend a couple minutes on him right now. I mean, I made the video yesterday. The reports are differentiating again, like I kind of talked about, but he's the perfect complement to Alshon Jeffrey, really, once he comes back. Alshon, that back shoulder type of receiver. Gordon, a guy that can just burn you deep or do whatever he wants, really. I would love it if they went after him. I would even spend a draft pick. And the reason why I would spend a draft pick, but the physical for Josh Gordon, the physical for him is passing the drug test.
Yes.
That's his physical.
Yes.
If he passes that physical, and if he keeps passing his physicals, because I'm drug testing him every day, basically. I don't know if you can, but I'm drug testing him as much as possible. But I would send a pick their way because you are in a position to win right now Super Bowls. You're here. You're there. You're here already. You can afford to waste away a pick here. I would take it.
I would too. I would give a 5th round pick. I would go. You said 5th round pick. I agree with that. 5th round pick. I would go because the thing about it is, if you lose Wallace, I don't know what happened. I don't know how bad it is, but let's say he's out. You already have Hollins on the IR. You don't have anybody that can really step into that spot. I don't want to move Aguilar on the outside. I want to keep Aguilar.
I don't either. Yes.
So you gotta do something. They have to do something. And if you could get Josh Gordon, and like you said, he passes the drug test, the physical. I mean, that could become lethal by December when he starts to understand the playbook. Those two guys with Alshon, man, that could be lethal. So I would definitely do it. And Wallace getting hurt is more of a reason to do it and not waste any time, because I don't know where you're going to get another talent like that right now. But, we know Howie. We know Howie's going to find something before the trade deadline. Look what he did with Ajayi. I believe he will, but I believe they got to upgrade that wide receiver spot because I'm expecting the worst from Wallace.
Yeah. That didn't look good because the way he got carted off and stuff, and the way he kind of laid down there.
Did you notice that Wentz was talking to him like it's going to be okay? Like almost like I felt like it was like, I know what you're going through, man. Hey,
Yeah.
Wentz, that's what it looked like to me. So I'm expecting the worst. Hopefully it's not, but we're really thin at wide receiver.
Yeah, and something you can understand, kind of like what you said. You kind of alluded to it briefly there. I mean, learning the playbook, he's not just going to come in here. I mean, sure, you could just run on a couple go routes and maybe he'll make something happen, but don't expect like vintage Josh Gordon right away if you bring him in. He's got to learn all the nuances of the playbook and stuff, and that's going to take, I don't know, like a month.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But by the time you get to, the playoff push, he's starting to get comfortable.
That's what you're looking for.
Yeah, and then you're deadly. But right now, I mean, I don't think that they can continue, especially if Doug is calling these deke and dunk passes and being real conservative, not just because of maybe the pressure, but maybe because he doesn't trust the wide receivers. Then we got to do something. You can't go all year like that. You know what I mean? You got to do something. You got to do something at wide receiver, I think.
Yeah. I want to get back to the defense, though, because this is the unit that really, really disappointed me again. I mean, the offense, as bad as we're talking about it right now, they scored 21 points. Hmm? Did we really think the Bucs were going to score 20? No. And they did. They scored 27. And they won the football game.
Yeah,
Ryan Fitzpatrick, 4 more touchdowns. My God.
Yeah. Well, the defense, I mean, didn't show up. I thought the pass rush wasn't good. I thought Fletcher Cox played good. I think Derek Barnett played fairly good. But they weren't getting to Fitzpatrick. He had all the time he wanted to throw. And it killed the Eagles. It killed them. I think Brandon Graham was really quiet until like late in the game. He made a tackle, for a loss or run. And when you give people time, they're going to tear you up. And then I thought Jalen Mills wasn't good. I didn't like the way he played. I thought he was really bad.
He was not good. Darby. I'm not saying I'm giving him a pass, but at least Darby has been great since the start of training camp and stuff. But Mills, this was not a good effort from him at all.
Yeah, I mean, look, the thing with Darby is like, I don't know. He makes mistakes, but he also makes positive plays, like the interception. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know if it was a
that was a
fumble or
great play.
interception.
That was a great play by McLeod to
It
get
was
that
a great,
on the ball.
it was a great play by McLeod. But I think that Darby more than not is making positive plays and good plays. But Jalen Mills, like even on that third down, where we needed that third down stop to get back in this game, he gets a penalty, a holding penalty. You can't do that, and he's been here long enough to know better. Yeah, the defense was disappointing. I was disappointed with the pass rush. I was also disappointed with the secondary. No doubt about it. And I think that, like I said, I think that this isn't the Eagles. I think this is just an off week. That's how I'm looking at it right now. Now, if they do this again next week, I'm going to start to worry a little bit. But
another thing I'm a little bit confused about, and this is with Deuce Staley and the running backs, and even Doug Peterson as well. Wendell Smallwood got 7 carries in this game. That tied for the team high. He got more carries than Corey Clement. That's a joke. There were 2 runs where I saw Wendell Smallwood go to the outside when he had an alley about this big off left tackle. He did it twice. Wendell Smallwood sucks.
He stinks. I can't stand Wendell Smallwood. I'm sorry. I can't take that he's on this team. He cannot run inside, and he runs outside all the time. And then even on the last play on the game, this is gonna get me so pissed off, right? Even when they're doing the lateral thing, he didn't know what to do with the ball. He didn't know what to do with the ball. There's no time, and he's trying to do cutbacks. He didn't know what to do. Get rid of him. I'm sorry. He drives me nuts. Yeah. I feel better now.
You got your therapy out. You got it out. That pitch play, the third down play, like he went straight out of bounds. He had an alley. There was an alley there. Vince Lombardi would have drew it up perfectly, right up the alley. Just hit it, you Smallwood, but his pecker's too small.
That's it. I don't know.
You gotta hit it, Smallwood. Hit the hole.
I don't know what they like about him so much. I really don't.
I don't get it at all.
I don't get it. I mean, I know Ajayi was out for a while, and you couldn't give Clement. You don't want to give him the full workload, but it seemed like when Smallwood was getting more carries and more work than Clement. There's no way I would have done it, dude. No way.
It's like I understand. All right, you want to divvy up the carries because Ajayi's hurt in the first half. All right, but why is Smallwood in the game when Ajayi's back? Right. Clement's still in the game. It's the fourth quarter, and Smallwood's getting meaningful carries. Are you serious? That's on Deuce, and Doug. You got to be like, hey, Deuce, stop it. Smallwood stay.
Yeah, he does. I'm just not a Smallwood fan. I would have taken my chances on Josh Adams, but he's on the practice squad, of course. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, dude, this game reminds me so much of the Kansas City game. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. It just does.
And it was like the first thing we both kind of thought of today, about this game. I want to ask you something. It was like, did Dallas Goedert get hurt or something?
Didn't hear anything about it. I didn't see.
What the hell's going on? Okay,
I don't know.
This is another thing. All right, Doug, I love you now. All right, I love you. You won me a Super Bowl, but why is Josh Perkins getting snaps over Dallas Goedert? I'm confused. I'm trying to figure this one out.
Perkins dropped a couple balls
too.
Yeah. People were asking me that in my stream. I had no idea. I don't know. They never said one thing about Goddard. I'm curious to see. My guess is that he must be banged up or something. Maybe he pulled a hamstring and warm ups. I don't know. But man, we are still playing this injury thing. We're still playing with injuries from last year. Yeah. I mean, I'm just tired of it. I want to get this team back on the field. And I don't know why Goddard. I don't know what happened. Nobody said anything. He wasn't on the inactive list. So I don't know. Yeah. We'll have to find out. I'm sure.
I could have sworn I saw him on the field at one point.
I don't remember seeing him at all.
maybe I got him mixed up with Ertz, but
And I thought they could have gotten Ertz going a lot sooner. I think they could have I would have liked to see him like stretch the field a little more, especially with Ertz and stuff. I thought it was too dink and dunk until the fourth quarter.
I'll have to watch the second half back and see kind of what they did, because they did kind of take more shots down the field,
and it worked too.
Yeah, I don't know if they were giving Big V some help. I'll have to look at that, because the protection was better, the flags were staying in the pockets of the referees, and they made this comeback, man, and I found myself really proud of this comeback, because it went back to what I was talking about last Sunday in the video that I made. I mean, the resiliency of this team. They had no business winning this game. It was 27-7, and even I was like, this game isn't over. Like, they have a shot. It's a slim shot, but they have a shot, and they made the most of it. They really did. Unfortunately, Jake Elliott misses that field goal before the half. That was like a crusher, because there was 2 points where it's like, all right, finally you have the momentum. So it was 7-0 Bucs, and then they score the first touchdown.
Right.
That long drive, you pick up a couple fourth downs. That's when I'm like, all right, the offense, they finally figured it out. It's 7-7. And then there goes O.J. Howard. Like, what the hell was that?
That took all the momentum off of this.
It did.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And then it was before that, it was the Deshaun Jackson play. Then Tampa did nothing until that play, right? Yeah. And then that play got them up. They come back and they go on another drive and score before half. That O.J. Howard play killed us. Remember, I wanted O.J. Howard though. Remember, I did like him. He's a good player, but I mean, yeah, that killed us. That killed us. I will say this though, I'm impressed with Nelson Aguilar. I think he looks like he's going to explode this year.
He looks confident. Like that confidence, that swagger that he's got now. It was never there before.
I would have liked to see them send him long from the slot, like something like that, because I think he looks really, really fast.
Yeah.
And, it's just not a good game, man. It just reminds me of the Kansas City game to a T. To a T, man.
I'm looking back at the play-by-play here. So the best thing to go back and look at when it comes to like stats, check out the NFL game book. If you can check it out by even going to NFL.com and downloading the game book. It's like 18 pages of goodness. Now I'm going to be making my own game book after the games. I have my own notebook that I keep, but this is good stuff. So this is good for me as a guide to use for the show. All right, so you had the Clement touchdown, the 15-yard touchdown. Again, we talked about that. And then the Howard play, and then they go 3 and out right after that, and that's where we talk about the momentum. And then they go right down the field and they score again. So it's 20-7, and it's like, all right. So at that point, it's 20-7, and it's 42 seconds left in the half, and they get that big play to Ertz for 34 yards. So you're like, all right. Maybe you can get a field goal before the break. You have the ball to start the second half. There's no reason why you can't get this to within a possession score, and they didn't do that. They missed the field goal, and then they missed the fourth down at the start of the third quarter, and that was not a first down, by the way. I had people telling me it was a first down. It was not. Ertz's knee was down before he stretched out.
Yeah, it was down. It was down. What bothered me about that play is, why are you throwing?
Why are you short?
Why are you throwing short? I can't stand that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
That bothered me.
Levante David's too good. He's too good to have. I mean, Zach Ertz, out of all people, you're asking him for yak on Levante David? Come on.
Yeah, that just didn't make sense to me. That's the kind of thing that was giving me flashbacks of 2016 Doug Peterson play calling.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and then you have to say, well, why is he doing it? Is it because he's scared of the pressure that Foles is getting because Big V?
It was absolutely Big V. It was absolutely that. And then he finally got more aggressive because he had to. I mean, he was 27-7. Because they went right down the field again.
Yeah.
I mean, 3rd and 7, you hit Deshaun Jackson for 28 yards, and Mike Evans wide open for the 4-yard score.
Yeah, Yeah.
27-7.
And those are the plays. Those are the times that you really miss Wentz, because when he gets the pressure, he has the ability to get out of it and keep the play live and make the big
Yeah.
play. That's what, one thing. Foles isn't going to do that for you. But yeah, it was a frustrating loss. And there's a lot of blame to go around for this team. It just reminds me of that week 2 Kansas City last year. It really does, to a T.
Yep. We talked about Aguilar. He had that 50-yard reception down the left sideline. He was just flying, and they score a touchdown on that drive. So it's 27-14, 12 seconds left in the third quarter. This is the point in the game, like, oh man, like they got a shot here. I don't know if the defense is going to stop them, but the offense was like starting to get consistently humming.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to remember. Remember where I thought the Eagles were winning the game when they stripped Mike Evans.
Yeah, that happened. I believe that happened on the ensuing possession. It did.
And I thought that was the game changer. I thought that was going to change everything, but it didn't.
Yeah, it didn't.
I
didn't.
I thought that was it.
Yeah, because you had the fourth down, at 4th and 10, you had that crazy play. As if the Eagles didn't have enough injuries in this game. You Clement and Aguilar bump heads, and a good thing they were okay. But, again, that was a scary play. And Clement almost came down with that.
He was open. If
Yeah.
Foles get that look, he's open.
That was a heck of a throw by Foles, man.
It was, because he had so much pressure in his face. I mean, he was running for his life. That was a scary play, but just a lot of things like, dude. I'm telling you, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch that Kansas City game again. I definitely want to watch it because I think it reminds me so much of that game.
But I was a lot more angry for that game than I am for this one.
Yeah, me too. Me too. and hearing that Alshon might be back next week and Carson might be back, those things, make it kind of easier to get over this. But I just trust this team to get it right. I do, and I think they will.
I do as well. I mean, even again, like the way that they fought back in this one, the way that their demeanor was along the sidelines, they were very calm. People on Twitter might have been freaking out, but they were calm. They were relaxed, and they almost did this thing. They really did.
And look, sometimes you need. I mean, I know it sounds like nobody wants to hear it, but sometimes you need a little bit of a butt kicking or a loss to kind of refocus yourself and get ready. It's a new season now. You got to put the past behind you, and everybody's going to give you their best, and you better be ready for it. And hopefully, they learn that lesson today, because next week, I mean, the Colts won today. Didn't they beat the Redskins?
I believe they did hang on and win that game.
So they're going to be coming in next week, and they're going to be giving us their best. We got to be ready. We have to be ready every week. So, maybe in the end, maybe down the road, we'll look at this game and we'll say, all right, this was the game that, was the Eagles kind of got themselves together after this.
Yeah. You talked about wanting the blitz. Well, we finally got the blitz midway through the fourth quarter. It took forever to get there. And I agree with you on that. The reason why I agree with you is, again, the secondary was getting torched. And if the front four isn't getting pressure, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Deshaun Jackson, they were doing whatever they wanted. So you had to figure out a way to generate more pressure to disrupt that timing. And bringing guys on blitzes, I thought, would have helped. I know it's something Jim Schwartz doesn't believe in, something he doesn't do. But I thought for this game, I thought he should have brought more of it. So you had a sack on first down by Bradham. And this is the drive where Darby made that play on 3rd and 2. So the only contribution he makes to this game, besides the pick too, but that was more, I thought, on McLeod. But this play, it was a nice tackle. Thank God he made it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I totally agree. And the other thing is, if you notice how far back our corners play, they played way off, and then you don't blitz and get pressure. So all they have to do is run 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, turn around, and they're going to get the ball. I'd like to see them play a little more press. Take the chance when you're down that you may get beat deep, and blitz and press. And I think that they could have done it a little earlier. That may have gotten us a 3 and out or something like that, and given us a chance to get the ball back. I would have liked to see that more, and
Yeah.
and he doesn't like it. I know.
What might have actually helped Tampa Bay win this ball game. So the Eagles had a 1st and goal from the 8 with 4:29 left. They ran the ball Jay Ajayi 3 straight times, and that churned a minute 40 seconds off the clock about. I think 1:42 I'm seeing before they got that 4th down and the beautiful throw to Aguilar for the touchdown.
Oh yeah.
But those runs wound up being a killer because obviously Tampa Bay on this next possession, you had the 1st down on 2nd down, the completion to Sean Jackson, a gutsy call by the offensive coordinator there to throw the football. You had the key neutral zone infraction penalty on 2nd down. You had the holding penalty on Mills that gives them another 1st down, and the Eagles don't get the ball again until 19 seconds. So if you stop them there, you might have potentially given yourself 2 more minutes on the clock.
Yeah, that's very true. Speaking of that play, did you see how bad the blocking was on that 3rd down run by Jai with Big V? I mean, he just let the guy go right through him like a wet paper bag, and Ajayi got stuffed. Yeah, you're right. I mean, could have done it, had more time on the clock. That definitely would have helped us, But in the end, we still had a chance on that 3rd down. Well, what was like 3rd and 2 because they jump off sides. I mean, you can't jump off sides on what was it like? I think it was 3rd like 3rd and 7 or something.
So you had. I'm looking at the play-by-play. It was a 2nd and 8. They jumped off sides, so that gives them 2nd and 3.
Yeah, I mean that's a killer, man. That's a killer. You get them in 3rd. You can get them into like 3rd and 8. You have a chance to get off the field.
Yeah.
And that hurt us. Who was it that jumped off sides? By the way, I forget who it was. It wasn't Derek Barnett, was it?
Brandon Graham.
Yeah. And that hurt us. And then on that 3rd down where Mills gets called for the penalty, I think Evans caught the ball anyway. So that's the game, man, right there. You get off the field there. I felt like we could have gone down and scored because we were moving the ball.
Yeah.
That was it. That was all she wrote.
It didn't surprise me that Tampa Bay got a couple 1st downs. So the way that they were going today,
yeah.
I was like, if they were going to stay really, really conservative and run the ball, the Eagles would have won this game. But again, credit to that offense.
They didn't run, and then the Eagles did not run the ball enough this game. They, especially in the first half, they're too pass happy with little deke and dunks. When they ran the ball north and south, they looked like they were running. They were gashing them at times. I would have liked to see the Eagles run the ball more, especially to keep that offense, which was having big plays, off the field.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. I would have liked to see that more. I think they were too pass happy, which is one of the things that we complained about after that Kansas City game. They were too pass happy. So,
and the run was kind of working. Like if you have Big V in there, he's a better run blocker than he is pass blocker. You had that play on the touchdown, man. Like he actually made a really good block on that, paving the way for Clement. I believe it was he started off on a combo block and then he got a kick out, and that sealed it for Clement there. So you had that. By the way, I remember the coordinator's name now. It's Todd Monken. I couldn't think of the guy's name the whole show. Took me the whole show.
I couldn't tell you his name, so you great job with that. But
yeah.
I mean it's look over if you look at the whole thing, right? Look at offense, defense, the defensive line, the secondary, the running game, the receivers, the offensive line. But everybody didn't have their best game. It was like everybody was not that great today. It was a team loss. And I think it's not something that we're going to see all the time. I think we throw it away and we get ready for next week because this isn't the Eagles. Yeah.
All right. To kind of close this recap, I guess we can talk about Carson Wentz a little bit. So do we get ahead of ourselves? Because there's no official, statement yet. But obviously we know the report. Adam Schefter too. Though it's not Rappaport, it's Schefter on this one. It looks like Wentz is going to be back for week 3.
My thing is this: is every time there's been a report, and I said, don't worry about the report. It's just a report. It's been true. So maybe this one will be too, and I hope so. I want Carson back. I think two AFC teams. You're playing at home. I think this is the week if he can play. If he's 100%, if he's cleared, I think this is the week you want to bring him back because it gives you 2 games out of conference to get ready for Minnesota. We have to crush Minnesota. We have to destroy Minnesota. So I say if he's cleared, you got to play him week 3. I have a feeling that this is going to happen. I think this is it. Um, I think that I'm believing the reports. So
Yeah.
I think it happens.
We still have to get past that last hurdle, which is to get him cleared. But the report says they expect him to be cleared. And that even goes back to a Peter King speculation, not a report, speculation. When somebody goes on the radio and they give an opinion on something, that is not a report, that is their opinion. So, but he's pretty spot on. He made this opinion based on conversations he had with Doug Peterson. He made it sound like Doug was kind of thinking week 3. Peter King did a good job playing the game, asking the right questions, and he got what he wanted in terms of the answers.
He did, yeah. I think Wentz is coming back. I think Alshon is coming back too. I think they're both going to come back this week.
Yeah.
And I think when he does come back, I don't think everybody should expect 4 or 5 touchdowns, 400 yards. I think he's going to be off. I think he's going to be rusty. I think his timing's going to be off, and we got to let him work through that. And it's going to take a little bit of time, but just to have him on the field is going to be great. It's going to be a boost to this team.
And that's why you want him back for Indy, because you want to have a game where you can afford to not have your best game but still win because it's Indy.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And I mean, in a weird way for Wentz, like Indy and then Tennessee, I mean, those are basically be 2 preseason games as far as I'm concerned with them. Because I expect them to beat both of those teams.
Yeah.
And I think they can beat him with not a Wentz that's 100% in terms of not health, but in terms of his timing and his rust. I think that he can still get the job done, and then he probably is going to feel a lot better going into that Week 5 game against the Vikings, which is going to be a huge game.
Yeah. So I did say 3-1 after the first month. That's what I had been saying, and I think kind of what happened here is Tampa Bay became the game that I thought Tennessee was going to be. I don't think Tennessee is going to be as difficult as I once thought anymore. So I don't know what they did today, but I did watch the condensed Tuttle's version of last week's game against Miami. I just wasn't impressed. And we'll see about today's game against Houston when I watch that one. But, that team going to Nashville, it's not an easy place to play. This isn't going to be an easy game, but I think it's one that they could win.
Yeah, I think so, especially with Carson at the helm. I mean, he gets 1 game under his belt against the Colts. Then he comes back. And he probably plays a little bit better against Tennessee. You can win that game, and he's got 2 games under his belt. So yeah, I think if he's cleared for contact, this is the week to do it. Right now,
this is it.
This is it.
All right. Let me just run down quickly stats, and then we'll kind of give final thoughts and get out of here. I got to write my recap too. Busy day for me. I went to church this morning too. I can't wait to go to church next week, 1:00. The only time I've ever looked forward to going to church. All right, so here's the final stats. Nick Foles finishes 25 of 34. Hold on. This can't be right. Is that right? He only had 34 passes?
I thought he had more passes than that.
Yeah, I don't think this is this is not updated.
Because
good job, Game Book. You didn't update your stats.
Because he had like 29 passes. He had like 28 passes in the third quarter.
Because I could have sworn he had 40 plus.
I thought he had 40, but I did think he threw for 300 yards though.
Okay, so here I'm going to pull up here's another box score, and that game book is, I guess they just never updated. So I was telling you guys go download the NFL game book, and then they went and betrayed me. Thanks, guys. I give you a plug, and you made me look stupid. All right. Nick Foles, 35 of 48, 334. So on that site, I think they had him throwing like 29 passes or 30-something passes, and that was not correct. I knew that wasn't right. So 35 of 48, 334, and a touchdown for him. You know, I commend him for what he did today. Actually, I was actually kind of impressed by the way he brought the team back. Zach Ertz, 11 catches for 94 yards. Nelson Aguilar, 8 for 88 and a score. Josh Perkins, 4 for 57. Clement, 5 for 55. So those are your receiving totals. Kamar Aiken, 5 for 39. Then the rushing totals, again, like they didn't run the ball as much as you would like them to. Corey Clement, 6 attempts for 30 yards and his touchdown, had that 15-yard score. Smallwood, 7 for 28. That's disgusting. I hate you. Jay Ajayi, 7 for 28 and 23 and a touchdown. And then the Tampa Bay side, Fitzpatrick only had 6 incompletions, 27 of 33, 402 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. My God. Peyton Barber didn't do anything, 16 for 22 on the ground. Deshaun Jackson leads the Bucs, 4 for 129 and a touchdown. I made a great pickup with him 5 minutes before 1 o'clock because I saw Josh Gordon was out, so I had to make a quick change. I picked up Deshaun, and that's going to benefit me. Mike Evans, 10 for 83 and a touchdown. Chris Godwin, 5 for 56 and a touchdown. So Chris Godwin, remember I was talking to you about him. The Sports Fury guys, they made fun of me for that pick, but he's a good one. Chris Godwin's very underrated.
Very talented kid, yeah. He played great today. That's a good pickup.
Yeah.
You gotta have.
So
I gotta say though, when you hear those stats and you hear that Smallwood had more carries than Clement, and as many carries, it should never happen. In a situation where Ajayi goes out like that, okay, let's say he's gets 7 because he went out for a while, whatever. Clement should at least say like 15 carries. He should have had at least that many carries. They didn't run the ball enough, and that was a big problem. That hurt them. I definitely think they should have run the ball more. And they're gonna fix. They gotta run the ball more.
And the thing too with Smallwood too is like when he's in the game, they're running the ball because he can't pass protect. It's a tell when he's in the game because Clement, he can pass protect. That he can pass catch, and that he can run it. So when he's in the game, you're not really given any tells. But with Smallwood, every time you see him out there, well, it's a run, and it normally is.
Yeah. And if he's going to get positive yards, it's not going to be inside run.
Yeah. All right. I guess this is where we kind of get the final thoughts here. We got our disappointment out, but like, I'm not super pissed off. I'm not bitter. I'm not a bitter bird right now. I blame the Super Bowl win.
Yeah, I'm not bitter too. I'm disappointed, but I just by the way this team played, by everything I saw, I don't think this is most of the time what you're going to get with the Eagles. It just really reminds me of that Kansas City game, and I remember what we did last year after we started 1-1. So I'm confident that we can do it again. My biggest fear right now is what are we going to do about that wide receiver spot? Because I think we have to do something. And I'm going to be watching Howie this week very closely to see what he thinks. I mean, they were working a ton of wide receivers out this week. They bring back Aiken. It's just not good enough. And then you lose Wallace. So they got to do something. And my biggest concern is that wide receiver spot, more so than the loss. I think we can recover from the loss, but we need to get somebody in there.
Yep. All right. That's about it. I think we covered all aspects in this one.
I think so.
Yeah, I think we got it all. All right, that's Philly 500. I am Adrian Fetchu. Time for the recap for me. Yeah. All right, we're out of here. Take care.
Peace.